welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily if you're new here, and today we're going to be repotting some rooted cuttings that I have, and then also just a couple plants that really are too pot bound and need new pots because, yeah, I've been slacking on a couple of those. So I'm going to start with these Philodendron Bipennefolium cuttings. The ones making this huge new leaf. They have pretty expansive root systems. I mean, that one has a new growth point. And yeah, I just got these little super cute little ceramic-ish pots at a local nursery. Soil. So I'm just taking like a scoop, and as with like all of my soil, it's coming from the same thing as all of my soil comes from, but it is a Miracle-Gro potting mix with perlite, a little bit of orchid bark. I don't think this mix has any leca in it. Sometimes I'll add leca in if I feel like it. I don't really know. I'm trying to figure out how I want to arrange these two. I definitely want that one there. So I figure might as well finally repot these guys because they for sure need help. And the cuttings I have been slacking on majorly, because the next batch of cuttings, Siltepecana cuttings, that should have been in soil in December, and it's mid-February now, so yeah, that's where we're at. So we just got these super cute little pots. They're glazed terracotta, but the bottoms are not glazed, and they have a really big drainage hole. I'll show you on the other one. They were only like $3.99 each, and I was like, ooh, and they're this pretty blue color. It looks super cute with the Bipennefolium. I liked how that one looked together. Yeah, these guys have really large drainage holes, and this has little feet on it, and I just have a piece of dryer sheet that I like stick in the bottom there. One of these needs taken out because it's not staying with me. One of these cuttings is getting a new home this afternoon. That one is 99% sure it's that one. Yes, it is that one. And the rest of these guys, I really should have potted these in like December, because that is kind of crazy, but it's okay, and they're all producing new growth, so they're going into this little square pot. Super cute, right? I gotta get my little lid back on my knee. So I always start with just putting some soil in the bottom, because that's fun and helpful. Oh my god, my leg got wet. And then I'm gonna take them. This one's got a huge root, but look, it's got 2 leaves now. Oh, I forgot. I need to go get my, yeah, I'll just use that. I don't want to get up. When I propagated these, I left a large portion of like the inner node so that their leaves are pretty small, and I didn't want them to get like pulled on too much by, like, I didn't want them to sink into the thing. So I left a little bit of extra node than I normally would. So I'm cutting that off because they're a little too tall then to like get into here. Especially that one that I just chopped. I cut off like 2 inches of inner node, and there's still a bunch. So that gives you an idea. Okay, I'll show you on this one. This one has a good portion. I left like that much, and I'm gonna chop it up a bit so that it doesn't have to like have that much, because there's really no reason for it to have that much other than I didn't want it to get lost in the little thing. So we're putting 4 cuttings in here, and this one doesn't have any new growth started on it yet, but I mean, it does have a growth point started, but there's no leaves, and the growth point isn't super active yet. So then I'm just gonna like pour soil in, and we're gonna grab another scoop and more soil. Potting up cuttings, I think, is more difficult than potting up plants. Or I should say, it's more difficult than potting up things that don't have like 3 million stems in them. Because like this little pot is gonna have 4 like cuttings in it, which is a lot. If I wasn't rehoming one of the cuttings, it would be 5, which is a crazy amount. And the mother plant just started putting out a new growth point, which is great because she needed a new growth point basically, because I chopped that up and then over winter break all of her leaves fell off. So she just put out her first leaf and now it's been a month since she's had any leaves. But now she's got one. So there we go. It's just a little pot of Siltepecana. And I wanted to put them in this because I don't want them to dry out super duper fast, especially because they're coming from water propagation. And that can get a little tricky. This one, I don't really care what I do with this. I'm trying to just take all of the soil that's in here and just pop it into here because it hates. Oh, there we go. Perfect. It does not like this pot that it was in, and it's also going somewhere else today. So I'm gonna decide. I'm gonna fill in a little bit with this one. This is a Philodendron black cardinal, I believe. Don't quote me on that. That is just what I think it is. It wasn't labeled when I purchased it, but that was nice and quick. I'm gonna do this Philodendron cream splash next. I also want the soil from this bad boy. It is for sure root bound because if you look at like the size of the new growth versus the size of the old growth, it's also in a pretty small pot. A fungus gnat just went and tried to go into the soil of those. That soil's dry. You can't live in there. Get out of here. I don't want you in my house. I don't know where the fungus gnats are coming from. Are we going? I already felt some roots break. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. So this is gonna be super fun because look at that. That is solid roots. That explains why it sounded bad and was holding on so tight. So we're gonna basically we're just massaging the roots to get some of that soil out because it has been in the same soil since like I got it back in June. I want to say June. That feels right. So I'm just kind of massaging it, similar to when I did my fry deck when I was trying to split it up, but this time I'm not splitting this because there's nothing to split. It's just a bunch of roots that need untangled a bit to go into a new pot because the new pot is a different size and shape. It's less, like that pot is very wide and shallow and the new pot is a little bit more slender and tall, so it definitely needs this. I actually did this exact transfer with my Siltepecana back before I chopped it up because I thought that would help. It didn't help. It's still moody. The big one is, at least. These little ones, I'm hoping they're not gonna hate me, but you never know. They might. My goodness. I think I broke up. I am so sorry. I feel so bad. I broke off this entire thing of roots and only left a little bit, but you know, where were those even connected? I really don't know where they were connected on this thing. Oh well. It'll be fine, I guess. Oh my goodness. So we're just gonna pop it in here and hope for the best. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. I prefer terracotta for most of the plants that I own because it's more fun. Well, I like to water plants. And if I keep them in terracotta like this, I can water them. So that guy is done. And we just have one more left. And this is probably the most exciting one here, which is my new Variegated Syngonium that I got from the owner of, oh my gosh, Glass House Works. He was giving me a tour of the little like production greenhouse where they keep all of the mother plants, and talking about how he had introduced these to the American market like 30 years ago, actually under a different name than they're sold under now, which is really interesting. And I mentioned that I didn't have one, and he was like, oh well, we need to fix that. And then he went and grabbed this one for me, and it is so pretty. It doesn't have a ton of white, which I'm fine with, because things with a lot of white don't tend to do the best, but it does have tons of roots coming out of the bottom, so we're moving her up a size. I might just, the nursery pot already cracked, so I'm just gonna basically rip the pot to try to get it out, because it was not moving. The pot cracked while I was trying to like maneuver it, so we're just ripping it apart. Like, oh God. We got a side off. That made it so much easier. Maybe that's where, okay. Let's try to thread this root back through, because I don't want to like kill its roots too much, because it has only been in my home for like a week and a half. And I'm trying to decide. Wow, this has some pretty looking roots. That is very nice. It's got a healthy root system. Like, I think I'm gonna put it in the 4-inch terracotta. I think that's the move, is putting it in the terracotta. That feels like what's gonna happen. Yep, that's what's gonna happen here. Because I don't think I have a different pot that would like fit this. Like, that's a good sized root system. So we're gonna go, yeah, that's actually, yeah, that's what we're going with. Cool. So we're just gonna set her in there. And yeah, it was such a cool experience, like getting to see some of these plants and like hear about the history of them. Cause like, I don't know, you don't really hear about like, oh, so that plant was introduced by this person in this year. Like, you don't hear that. You're just like, oh, that's a cool plant, I want it. But when you're touring like almost their personal collection and getting to, you know, hear about it from the source, and someone who's been in like the industry for, gosh, I don't even know how many, like 50 years at this point, I think. It was over 50 years. And it was just super cool, and they had some really neat plants. Okay, I swear, there's more soil in there. This is just not catching any of it. Yeah, okay, so that's where we're at right now, is we're just gonna repot this, because, I mean, it's a gorgeous plant, it just needed a bigger pot. And it's really interesting hearing like the like original correct name that it was introduced under, which is Syngonium French Marble. I even have a little plant tag that I'm totally putting in that he wrote, because that's so interesting. And I got to learn about, like, he has a massive Thai constellation there that, like, he sent pieces of it all over the place, including, well, technically, he's got a massive salt and pepper monstera, which is what's now known as a Thai constellation. But up until a few years ago, the word Thai like the name Thai constellation wasn't being used, which is just, it was super interesting getting to hear about some of these plants. And there were so many plants that I hadn't like seen in person, like variegated domesticums and giganteums and Florida ghosts and things like that. I had seen Thai constellations before. I've seen some massive ones, but the stems on this guy, like, there's no way you could propagate that thing without air layering it. Enjoyed. Yeah, words are hard. But this guy, it is now February. I started this about 3 months ago. It could have gone into soil a month after starting it, But the reason I didn't pot it up then is because I did have to go away for a month for winter break, and I didn't want to leave a relatively fussy plant under the care of my boyfriend who had never taken care of plants before for an entire month. While I was gone, I wanted to be able to care for it myself once it got potted, and I already have a spot picked out for it. I have spots picked out for all of these, but the cream splash, it's probably going on the windowsill. It's where most of the not mystery plants, like miscellaneous plants go, is over there or on the cart. It's the other cart, the windowsill. Also, peep the greenhouse in the background with its little lights on. I just realized that you can see it. Well, there's where the greenhouse lives. I hope you all enjoyed. If you would like to, please leave a like, comment which one of these is your favorite. I know that either the Siltepecana or the Variegated Syngonium are my favorites. I mean, I like all of them. Don't get me wrong. I really like this guy. I'm very excited to see it grow, and I really like the cream splash. But I always have a favorite. Like, there's no way to not have a favorite of like plants because they're all so different. Alright. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day and a wonderful rest of your week. Bye!